Hi, welcome back for Chapter 6, Measurement and Geometry. Today we're focusing on Lesson 1, Circles. So let's talk about a few vocabulary terms. The circle, that is a set of points in a plane that are fixed distance from the center. So, let's say I have this paper clip right here, okay? I got a paper clip. And this piece of paper, and let's say this is my fixed distance here, right? And here. What it's saying is a circle is a fixed distance from a point all the way around, you know. I'm just kind of making little hash marks, just trying to show you what this definition means. Here. And I'm making these little hash marks, but I can connect them in just a little bit. Okay, and then you kind of have a circle that is a fixed distance all the way. Oh, that wasn't that great of a circle. Well, hopefully you get the idea. From this point in one plane. Okay, so let's look at that definition again of a circle. It says the set of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from the center. So all these points along this are a fixed distance, and they're all the same distance. And all those points together can make up a circle, especially if you have the points like really, really close to each other, you know? So that's the definition for a circle. The next thing is a radius. That connects the center to any point on the circle. So for this, like this paper clip was kind of really like my radius, because any point it connected it to the center. Right? Any point over here, my radius connects it to the center, and it's the same distance, right? All the way around. So that is a radius. And then the third term is the diameter. This connects 2 points on the circle and passes through the center. So a diameter would be something like from here and then goes through the center all the way down. That's a diameter. So from here to here, that is a radius. But from one side going through the center all the way to the other side, that is called a diameter. Now, the cool thing about a diameter is that a diameter is actually made up of, look, that's a radius there, and that's a radius there, right there. So every diameter is actually equal to 2 radius, or radii. That's how they call it, plural. All right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so now that we've talked about those different definitions, here we have this lovely picture of a bicycle wheel. There's the center, there's the diameter, there's the radius. Now, we're going to be doing something and trying to figure out the circumference. Now, the circumference, what that is, that's actually the distance around the circle. So here, the distance around the circle is the radius, okay? And this is the same thing. And so if I was to illustrate that with this, let's see, this here, right? I'm going to make this into like a circle. Okay, so that's a circle. Just imagine with me that that's a perfect circle. The circumference is the distance around this circle. So if I take this and my fingernails are going to mark right here, see that distance around the circle becomes a straight line here, and it's that long. And see, that's what the circumference is. It's kind of like the perimeter, right? The perimeter is the distance around, except for circles it has a special name. It's called circumference. It's the distance. It's how long is the circumference. And I don't know, that looks like it could be maybe 7 inches or something. So that means that the circumference of this would be 7 inches. Now there's a formula. I was just completely just looking at it and estimating, which isn't good enough, right? But there's a formula for circumference, and we're going to look at what that formula is to find the exact. Okay, so the formula for the circumference is found by, you have either two. There's two. There's the circumference equals pi times the diameter, or the circumference is 2 pi r. Now, why is that? Why are there two formulas for the same thing? Well, the reason is because we go back to this, right? The diameter is what? It's the same thing as 2 radiuses. 2 radiuses are the same thing as the diameter. So in this formula here, you have pi, which is it's a symbol that represents 3.14. Pi times the diameter, or 2r, that is the same thing. 2 radii is the same thing as diameter. And see, so it's really the same formula. It's just, this is in terms of the diameter, and this is in terms of the radius, and 2 times the radius is the same thing as diameter. So they're really just the same thing, written 2 different ways. Let's go ahead and look at this example here. So, here we have the circumference, and right here, circumference equals pi times 6. So 6 is the diameter, 3 is the radius, and they're actually solving it using both formulas. This formula here is the one on top, referring to the diameter of 6. And then this formula on the bottom here is how you would calculate it if you use this formula, 2 pi r. 2 pi r, and the radius here is 3. And see, 2 times 3 is 6, so it's really the same thing. And 6 times pi is 18.8 units. So that's how you use that particular circumference formula. So let's go ahead and do some problems and find the circumference of some circles. All right. So we have A and B. Oops, sorry about that. It says find the circumference of each circle, both in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we have to do it 2 ways, both in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. And then it says use 3.14 for pi. All right, we can do that. Okay, so let's get started. We have to find the circumference for a circle with a radius of 4 pi. So since we're talking about the radius, I'm going to use the formula circumference equals 2 pi r, right? The radius is equal to 4, and then I just go ahead and stick that in. So C equals 2 pi times 4. So on your paper, I want to see this every single time, the formula. I want to see you define the terms, and then you're going to show all your work. So 2 times 4, that's 8. Circumference equals 8 pi. Okay? Now, that is in terms of pi. That's what that means. You do all the work and you leave pi out how it is. This would be considered the exact answer. It's exact because it has pi. Whenever we use 3.14, it's a rounded version of pi, so it's not exact, it becomes approximate. However, so when it says in terms of pi, that's what you do. You just go 2 times 4 is 8, 8 pi, boom, that's the answer. However, if I was going to go to the store and I had to find something for the distance around a circle and I needed to go buy some, I don't know, maybe some like fencing material to make a circular fence, I couldn't go to Home Depot and be like, hey, can you give me 8 pi feet of fencing? Like, they're going to be like, what? So sometimes you have to know that approximate so you can go ahead and buy particular materials for things. So we're going to do the round to the nearest tenth, which means we're going to put 3.1 in for pi. 1, 4. And then I just need to figure out what that is. 3.14 times 8, that's 32. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. And then 8 times 3 is 24, 25, and then 2 places. So 25.12 meters. That is the answer. So those are both of our answers. All right? Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and try the next one. This says circle with diameter 3.3 feet, right? So that means you have a circle with a diameter of 3.3. Okay? So we're going to use the other formula for this one. Circumference equals pi d, where d is equal to 3.3. We go ahead and just substitute that in. And we end up with our answer, feet. So this is in terms of pi. So I love in terms of pi because it's just super easy. We're done, right? But now we also have to round it to the nearest tenth. Oh, you know what? I didn't round it to the nearest tenth here. This is tenths, this is hundredths. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to go back. So that isn't the right answer. The right answer would be 25 point. This 2 leaves that 1 the same. So that would be the correct answer, rounded to the nearest tenth. We always have to go back and reread those instructions so we make sure that we answer the question in the way that it's being asked. Okay, so now we have to find this to the nearest tenth. 3.3 times 3.14. I'm going to take that over to the side. 3.14 times 3.3. 3 times 4 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And then finally, 3 times 3 is 9. We add all these numbers up. We get 2, 6, that's 13. Carry the 1, 10. And then how many decimal places? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, that's where we put it. And then we have to round it to the nearest tenth, right? So this is the tenths, this is the hundredth, this is 5 or greater, so that means this is going to round to 10.4. So our answer is 10.4 feet. And there we have it. Okay, now it is your turn, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to try C and D. Go ahead and pause your device. Go ahead and work out those problems. When you get done, press play and we'll go over them. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did. Okay, so we have a circle with a diameter of 15 feet. So we got a circle, diameter, boom. So we're going to use this formula. Circle equals pi d. The diameter is 15. We go ahead and substitute that in. Right? I love this. Our answer, this is in terms of pi. We are done. This is my favorite. In terms of pi are my favorite. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. Okay, but we also need to do the 1 to the nearest tenth. So we're going to go ahead and substitute that. What do we substitute? 3.14 in for pi. I'm going to go over here and figure out what that is. I want you to make sure you show all your work. 5 times 4 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. Now we're in the tens place. We put a 0 there. In the ones place, 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Then we add 0, 11, 6, 7, 4, and 1, 2. Oh, and yeah, 47.1, that's already kind of to the nearest tenth. So that is our answer, 47.1 feet. If you got that one right, great job. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's move on to the other one. It says a circle with radius 10. So we're going to be using the formula circumference equals 2 pi r, where the radius is equal to 10. And remember that radius is just half the distance, right? So we're going to go ahead and substitute that in. Okay, make sure you're writing the formula and define your terms. If you don't have that on your paper right now, you need to go back and put that on there. Then we have 10 times 2, which is 20. Pi, and yeah, that's our answer in terms of pi. My favorite. Oh wait, we have to put meters. Gotta put those units on there. All right, then we're going to find the answer to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to put 3.1 in for pi. Take it over here. 3.14 times 20. That's just 0. Then we go 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 decimal places. Perfect, 62.8. meters. And there we have it. If you got all of that right, great job. And I will see you next time.